Well, we just saw The Purge: Anarchy, and the way that this show works is I take my friends to see movies, then we come out in the car and review them. We review them in two parts. The first part, spoiler-free, so you can decide whether you want to go see the movie or not. And then after the break, we go into more details, potentially into spoilers, so if you want to go see the movie, don't watch the second half. Otherwise, enjoy. Here's what we thought of The Purge: Anarchy. So this is the movie that I kind of hoped that they would make when I saw the first movie. The idea of The Purge is like a really good premise. It's a really good idea for a horror story, a really good idea for a survival story, that the first movie just used as a backdrop for a home invasion. Basically, the government sets aside like a certain number of hours, and during that time, all crime, including murder, is legal. In the first one, it's really just about this guy and his family and their house being invaded, or people trying to get into the house to kill them. This one, it's the anything goes. Yeah. They follow a couple of different characters through the city streets. There's a little bit more political side of the story. There's a little bit more of an analysis of the government, analysis of people that are sort of against it. It feels more like a lived-in world and a lived-in policy. And to me, that really works a lot better. I liked watching that better. There are some stupid things that happen in the movie, and there's some things that I didn't really care for. But overall, I mean, for what it is, it's basically, people trying to survive and make their way through this crazy night. But in the city this time instead of in just one house. So yeah. I like that about it.
Suburban What'd you think? House. I really enjoyed it. I liked the first movie as well. Understanding that movie was kind of like the setup of just the home invasion thing, and it was probably done on a smaller budget. This one, they got a little bit more of a budget, so they were able to do more interesting things along the lines of showing what else is out there. They got a little fun with the levels of, every idea we can, we're going to try to get all in there.
Yep.
But generally positive. Mm-hmm. Generally positive feelings about this movie.
Cool. So that's the basics. If it sounds like something you want to see, don't let us spoil it for you. Go check it out.
It's very violent.
Yep. If you've already seen it, or it's not your cup of tea and you just want to hear more about what we thought, please continue and we'll talk more about it. So, yeah, you hit on the fact that they use sort of an everything but the kitchen sink approach, and I really like that. I was really hoping that they would do that, where, from the couple of trailers that I had seen, the first teaser trailer just shows you like the couple that break down in the car.
Yep,
and that's really about it. And then later you see there's trailers with like the rich people auctioning off the group.
Okay. I don't think I saw that one.
Yeah, there's one that shows like that old lady that's like doing the auction thing. And I figured from the trailers that we were going to follow a couple of small groups that ended up together, and then they were in this basically most dangerous game plot from there.
Which happened, yeah.
Which ended up happening, but what I was really happy about was that really didn't happen until Act 3. And then it was really only about 10 minutes of the movie. Like, they got through that in no time. Where they were captured.
Okay.
They were in the room. Kyle Reese, as I'll call him, the protagonist of the movie, the main character of the movie, who's only called Sergeant in the credits, but he looks like Kyle Reese, so that's what I keep calling him. Kyle Reese takes out like 4 of them, gets the goggles, and then they end up taking out all but 2 of them that are left. Those guys run off, and that's when the Resistance comes and saves them.
Yeah, there's a Resistance.
And they're done.
Hey!
And they're done with the most dangerous game plot. They've moved on to the next plot, which is when you plan to commit a crime that to avenge something that happened outside of the Purge.
Right.
So it's I'm not just going and killing people.
Which I think was interesting, because I thought they were going to go with he's purging against a purger.
Right.
So I mean, it's a way more interesting thing to to not go with the levels of that and say, I'm planning my revenge on something terrible, but something that was not intended.
Yeah, and that they keep that secret correct. I mean, they keep that secret well through through the whole movie, because Kyle Reese is basically out to kill somebody. We know that much, and we know he's like an Avenger, but he also ends up helping the mother and daughter,
right?
And then the other two sneak into the car. The like couple that break down in the car sneak into his car, and so he kind of has these four people that he's trying to help out, and they tell him that they're going to get him a car, and they lie to him, but we never know exactly what it is that he's trying to do. We assume it's trying to get back at somebody who purged somebody he loved, and
are the non-violent people who just happen to be in a shit situation going to talk him out of this. Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of interesting moments that they could have went a lot of different directions on, and I think they chose wisely a lot of the times. I don't know if I cared for the scene with when they do find safety very temporarily in someone's house, and the woman inside there decides to start gunning down all of her family. I was I
think that's another one of those things where you have to, because they went the opposite direction of the first movie, which the first movie, it all takes place in one location. I think that was something where if they had lingered too long there, we would have seen it coming.
Right.
And there had to be a reason for them not to stay there. There had to be some reason for them not to stay there.
The one thing I could say about this movie is I think a lot of things you could see it coming. Like they did telegraph a lot of things happening. You knew you're going to meet up with the resistance. We told you in the first act, there's a resistance.
Yeah.
So, and tonight's the night that they're going to finally,
I mean, how it came to be, I didn't see coming. And there was a lot of things that I hoped would happen that happened. I hoped the whole most dangerous game thing would be brief if it happened at all. But I knew that it was coming. I was actually worried that it was going to be most of the movie.
Oh, really?
Like that they were going to end up in...
That wouldn't have been fun at all, no.
Like they just would have rounded everybody up in those trucks and brought them into, this... Again, we're in like an enclosed environment, but instead of a house, now we're in a, some sort of dungeon that the rich people built so they can watch all of this stuff happen. It felt like they tried a lot of different things, and I think for the most part, they did better than average at them working. Yeah. 7 out of 10 times it was fine.
I liked the government saying the people aren't killing enough, so we're supplementing.
Yeah. And I like the fact that, like, if you had something like this in a real urban environment, there would be a resistance, and it would be an armed militia resistance. So they played that part of it well. The guy, I just call him Omar. The guy that played Omar in The Wire is the leader of the resistance, and they kind of hide him behind glasses and like a grayish beard, but he's got that unmistakable scar on his face that you can always tell it's him. So
things that didn't work in the movie, I'm going to say it straight up. They named the date. They named Purge Day. Yeah. Why would you do that? Terrible idea.
Yeah, and I must have missed it. I think it must be like Spring Forward Day or something, because they said it started at 6 p.m. and then it was 12 hours, but it didn't end until 7 a.m. the next morning.
Right.
So it must have been like Spring Forward, like the day that you lose an hour. I don't know. That just seemed odd to me. But yeah, I mean, I think it succeeded in doing what the Purge movie should do.
Yeah.
I don't know what a third movie would look like. I'm sure they'll make one.
I'm sure it will feature that resistance.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I feel confident there's room for things like web series that they want to just do short one-off stories.
Yeah.
If this is successful enough, which it may or may not be. And I feel that there's room for a third movie that's just, hey, we're going to topple this terrible government.
Yeah, it had kind of a, like, Walking Dead before the zombies really took over kind of vibe to it. Like people sort of doing for themselves and the sort of gray morality thing and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, generally speaking, I liked it. I didn't feel like the body count was super high. I didn't feel like it was super violent, particularly.
That's true. They did in a, I don't want to say tasteful way, but they didn't zoom in and show you like people getting ripped apart or anything stupid like that.
The only thing that I would have changed, just because there's not enough drama for you to really feel invested. Like, if more of the main characters had died, I wouldn't have cared. It wouldn't have bothered me. I'm not saying that we need more main characters to die. What I'm saying is the movie could have stood to be funnier. There could have stood to be some like dark humor in it. Someone dying in a funny way, someone saying something and dying in a funny way.
Okay, I wouldn't hate it.
I would have gone for a little bit of like the Home Alone factor in there.
Just with Kevin setting up traps that kill people.
Goofy traps.
Well,
people getting impaled. And
people do have just like the shitty metal doors to protect them from the purge. Just
exactly.
Like, why don't you have tripwires with like grenades on the end of them or something like that, or paint cans that come and hit people in the face and kill Marv?
Yeah, like the one dude got hit by that pull trap, but there wasn't like a bear at the other end of it or something.
And I could say, there's definitely a level of I don't think everyone probably should have survived as much as they did.
Yeah.
And I feel like there was a cut of the movie where Sargent didn't get out, and Dale brought this up.
Yeah,
too,
I really felt like when he walked out at the end, and then got shot and then still survived, I felt like they're either saving that character for a sequel or there was some cut of this movie that people were like, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't kill that guy.
Don't kill that guy. The 28 days later theatrical release thing going on.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'd say I would have. I could have stood to not see so many people just like, oh, remember my face, run away. It's like, well, okay, come on, no, that seems almost pointless to have that scene at that point. Like, like why would just there was some just unremorseful like, yeah, that person's down, I'm just gonna shoot them because they're a bad person trying to kill me. Ultimately, I kind of feel the same kind of. Yeah, I don't know. I'm weird that way.
Yeah. Yeah, it had its moments where it was just kind of like, dude, whatever. But in general, I liked it, and it was certainly the movie I wanted to see from this series, from this idea of having a 12-hour moratorium on crime. On prosecution for crimes and all that kind of stuff. So it was pretty cool.
And I'd watch a third movie, so hey.
Yeah, we will.
Would this be the Dark Middle chapter?
Yeah, this is the Empire Strikes Back.
This is the one that's going to be the most quotable. I think. I don't know. I can't even remember a single line of dialogue from the movie.
Take this. I don't know. Yeah, something like that. Anyway, that's The Purge Anarchy. Hope you enjoyed it. If you like the way we do our reviews, please like it. Please subscribe to it. Check out all the written and video reviews at dalemaxfield.com. And thanks for watching.
All right. Bye.